Welcome back to Four Course Sports, where we dive into the delectable world of WMU sports. And today we're talking about the Western Michigan hockey team in the midst of their postseason run. I'm Joey Hartzell, the lead sports reporter.
I'm Jack Mennicke, the sports editor. Let's dive right into the apps. So the Broncos just defeated St. Cloud State in the NCHC quarterfinals to move on to the semifinals. The team now has an overall record of 28-7-1 and a conference record of 19-4-1. It is the first semifinal appearance for the Broncos in 3 years. Last season, the Broncos lost in 3 games at the hands of St. Cloud State in the quarterfinal round, so they kind of flipped the script this year and moved on to that semifinal round.
Yeah, diving into the main course, we're going to talk about those games individually a little bit. Western Michigan won 6-2 both nights. How they got to 6 was varied by night. But in game 1, it started out strong with 2 power play goals. Senior Matteo Constantini scored on a beautiful tic-tac-toe play that Western, I've seen them run multiple times now in the last few weeks, set up by Alex Bump and Owen Michaels, and that front line has really kind of come on strong as a good top 3. But they let St. Cloud get one back at the very end of the first period. Coming out of the second period intermission, or out of the first intermission though, Western Michigan responded 3 straight goals, pushed the game to 5-1, and it was pretty much over from there. St. Cloud didn't have much left in the tank past that point. They got one back in the third period, but Alex Bump had a beautiful unassisted goal to push the lead back to 4, and the game was pretty much over from there. Western killed time, and St. Cloud did not pull their goalie as the lead was just too big for it to really matter that much, and so the Broncos held on to win 6-2 on Friday night. Jack, I'll throw it over to you as you were there on Saturday.
All right, yeah. On Saturday, the Broncos again got out in front first. Alex Bump scored in the power play. You mentioned that line. They were again successful tonight. The scoring kind of slowed down from there for the Broncos, but in the second period, Garrett Ciezak scored to put the Broncos up 2-0. And then the third period, Tim Washi scored a minute and 32 in to put the Broncos up 3-0, and they kind of had control of the game at that point, but St. Cloud State was able to get a power play goal just a little bit later to make the score 3-1. So within 2, so it was still a competition for the Broncos. But then Wyatt Shingothi, he put the Broncos up 4-1, going up 3 goals again, so kind of solidifying that lead. The Huskies were able to get a goal back as they cleared their goalie to get 6-on-5 action. But then Alex Bump and Tim Washi both scored empty netters to solidify the game for the Broncos and win that game 6-2 and complete the sweep.
Moving into the sides, the Broncos were recognized for their team success on an individual level pretty well this year. Western Michigan had 10 different players nominated for NCHC specialty awards and had 4 players who made the all-conference teams, and Alex Bump, Hampton Slakinski, Una Väisänen, and Cameron Rowe. Very impressive for Western Michigan to have 2 goaltenders on the 3 all-conference teams. That's kind of a feat that I'm not used to seeing, and I'm sure a lot of people feel the same way. Goaltenders of that talent usually are not on the same team together, and Western's lucky to have a pair as talented as Slakinski and Rowe. But only having 2 skaters on the 3 all-conference teams really kind of shows how much depth this team has, I think. You talk about Alex Bump and Una Väisänen, who have kind of been the star power, especially with Matteo Constantini and Owen Michaels there, but guys like Brian Kramer, who was one of the best skaters on the ice on Friday night, had a great defensive game. Didn't have a ton to show for it in the box score, but was all over the place defensively in the right positions, didn't really make many mistakes, and created several chances. So I think that, while they did have several players shown or nominated for specialty awards, they did only have 2 skaters on the first 2 team lines, and I think that it's kind of interesting that just shows how much depth this team has.
Yeah, right. And going back to the goalies, I mean, coming into the season, who would have expected that Hampton was above Cam Rowe on the team list? He got 2nd team, Rowe got 3rd team, and I think that just shows the confidence that has been bestowed onto Hampton. And we mentioned it before, but he's starting both games now, Friday and Saturday. And I think that's what they're going to do moving forward. That's correct?
Yeah, so I talked to Coach Ferschweiler in the press conference on Friday night, made the comment, this is several Friday night games now in a row that Hampton has started. Is this the plan moving forward? And I got the traditional coach speak answer. We're taking it one game at a time, but he did say that Hampton has earned the right to continue starting into tomorrow night, which he didn't start on Saturday night. So I think that seems like the plan. Now that we moved into postseason play, it's kind of been a clear confidence in Hampton Slakinski as the full-time goaltender. But it's always nice to have a fifth-year senior who's as talented as Cam Rowe, who's the all-time winningest goalie in program history, on the bench to come in if you need it, especially in a playoff environment.
And I mean, how much does it mean for the Broncos to have that young of a goalie be so successful in the postseason? I mean, make second team first year. It's really something special for the Broncos, and they couldn't be more happy with their guy in goal going forward.
Yes, for sure. I'll throw it back to you, though, for the dessert.
All right, I'll wrap up with the dessert here, yeah. The NCHC Frozen Face-Off is scheduled for March 21st and March 22nd. The Broncos still do not know its opponent for the semifinal round of the tournament as of when we are recording this. For context, North Dakota, the 5 seed, beat Omaha, but Colorado College, if they win, they will be the Broncos' opponent because they will be the 6th seed, and they reseed the opponents for each round. So the Broncos are still in the not knowing of what their opponent or who their opponent will be, but regardless, hoping for a good turnout.
Yeah, the bright side is that whoever Western will see in the semifinals of the tournament will be a team that has not beaten them in regulation, I believe. I believe Arizona State is the only team that has beaten Western Michigan in conference in regulation this year. And so it'll be really interesting to see who Western gets, but I do think it's nice knowing that you're the top dog and that the other team's going to have to match up with you more than you'll have to match up with them, in my opinion.
Alrighty, that's going to do it for this episode of Four Core Sports. We're wishing the Broncos best of luck going forward in this postseason. I've been Jack Mennicke.
And I'm Joey Hartzell.
Thank you for watching.
Go Broncos.